What is going on, everybody? Happy Saturday. Happy holidays. Hopefully everybody had a fantastic Christmas, fantastic holiday. How we doing, man? How we doing? Welcome to Late Night Giants Talk with your host, yours truly, Big Dash. Before we get started, let me know if the audio is good. Let me know if the visual is good. I know we had some mishaps before with the whole vertical screen, horizontal screen difference, and then also, some issues with the audio. So let me know if I'm good. Just get a thumbs up either I'm good in the chat. We got some football going on right now. Green Bay Packers, Baltimore Ravens. I got that up on the screen right now too. So we're going to follow along with that too. Luann said I'm watching the Knicks. I hear you. I hear you. There you go. Shout out to the Knicks. Let's get a quick roll call going. Shout out to everybody that's already in the building. Make sure you hit the like button on the way in. It'll let the algorithm know that we in the building. And the algorithm let other Giants fans know that we in the building. Big brother in the building. Said Big Dash. Let's go. What's going on, big bro? Hopefully you had a good holiday. Said I be at. He says I'll be at the game. So it's I be at IGT, right? There you go. I can never pronounce your name the right way, but it is what it is. Shout out to you, though. Said you're going to the game tomorrow, 105 Vegas time, baby. That's a fact. He says, I'm already here. Hopefully you're enjoying yourself. I spent some time in Las Vegas, man. I lived in Vegas for about 10 years. Shout out to Vegas, man. Shout out to Vegas. You got you a good deal on the seat, too. I'm here for that. I wanted to go to that game, man. I wanted to go to that game, but I feel like the New York Giants don't deserve our money. But if you got a deal, $74, no parking either, that's a pretty good deal. And you get a chance to see Dart. So that's what's up. Got some people on the IR, though, man. I saw that today. They put some people on the IR. We're going to talk about that. Shout out to my man, Leo Luca, in the building. He says, hello, Big Dash. I hear the Giants are in the bowl game. The toilet bowl, that's a fact. It is the toilet bowl. Shout out to Luann. Luann said, yeah, what's going on, Luann? My man, OKC in the building. Says Dash was good. Time for another New York Giants family reunion. We need that number one pick. That is the ultimate goal at the end of the day, right? Having that number one pick, man. I will tell you this though, man. For some of these players, a win would go a long way for some of these players. As for the fan base, I don't know if it's a 50-50 split, 70-30, 80-20, whatever. But some of us absolutely just want to go ahead and say, you know what, forget it, pack it up, let's go to the draft. And guess what? I wouldn't be mad at you guys for feeling that way. What's going on? Man, thinking in the building said, hey, yo, what's going on, man? What's going on, Ryan? What's going on, Ryan? How you doing? Oh, if you guys didn't get a chance to check it out, we finally got our schedules correct. I did a show with Ryan from Ryan's Big Blue Podcast. It's on this channel now. If you haven't got a chance to check that out, go over to his channel and check out that video. And also check out his other videos as well. My man Ryan does good work. Shout out to my man Ryan. Rogue Shadow says, imagine pushing for tanking. Yeah, I'm not for the losses, man. I'm not for the losses. We'll never root for the loss. The thing is now those losses don't make me mad. I'm not upset. I'm not even fazed by it. The 2025 season, as we know it, is over. It's all about 2026. And a lot of people say these are meaningless games. Well, this game is meaningless for the 2025 season, obviously. But for the guys that will be on the roster in 2026, winning a couple games in the season is pretty much a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel for a season that was so dark. Injuries, again, not winning, giving up fourth quarter leads and stuff like that. So bunch of collapses for those guys on the field, man, and all the hard work that they put in, all the practice time, waking up early, leaving late. Those guys deserve something for all the effort that they put in, this year as far as the season goes. Brandon, what's going on? Brandon said, what's good, family? Leo Lucas says, happy holidays, Big Dash. Happy New Year. That's a fact. Happy New Year, too. Yeah, and speaking of that, this will be the last late night Giants talk of the year. Obviously, next Saturday, it'll be 2026. I will be live tomorrow for the post-game reaction. So it won't be the official last live tonight, but the last late night Giants talk, for the 2025 year. New York State of Mind in the building. What's going on? October says, if we win, do we get number 2? No, we don't. And that's the sad part about it. Because there are so many teams with 3 wins, I don't know exactly how far we fall, but I know it won't be the 2. We're probably looking at 4 or 5 at if we win tomorrow. Probably fourth pick, fifth pick. Might even get pushed all the way to the 6th pick. So we got to see what happens, man. We got to hope that if we do win, we got to hope some other people win as well. So yeah, it's a pretty big drop if the New York Giants win tomorrow, from the number 1 pick. Obviously, if you want to be able to trade back, you're going to need to be in the top 3, in my opinion. A lot of people going to call, but also it depends on if both quarterbacks declare. We already know that Mendoza most likely is coming out. I don't think he officially declared yet, but also Dante Moore from Oregon has not officially declared yet either. So it just depends on how many, or if those 2 quarterbacks come out, then if we drop to like 3, you might be able to still get some draft capital, but it won't be anything compared to having the number 1 pick right now. Ryan said, yes, phenomenal show. Yeah, no, it was dope, man. I appreciate it. We got to do it again. We definitely got to do it again. Luann giving me the update on the Knicks. Knicks up 10 right now. That's shout out to the Knicks. Hirsch for real. What's going on? Hirsch for real said, hello, Dash. What's going on, Hirsch? Money Mike 718. What's going on, Money Mike? He says next year, our coming out party, this is going to be our last chance to get a pick like this. Nah, that's a fact, man. I think so, man. Fine. If we get the right person in charge, man, if we get the right person to lead this team, hopefully the Giants will never be picking in the top 10 again. Hopefully, that's what I want to see. It's funny too. I was watching, I was on Twitter, and you guys know Big Blue VCR. They always got the fun facts, historical facts, and it was a clip from 1981. And then the funny thing about it, it said that in 1981 the Giants clinched a playoff spot, and it was the first time the Giants had clinched a playoff spot in 18 years. An 18-year drought. Here we are complaining about. Well, now it's only a 2-year drought, but 3-year drought. But 18-year drought, that's something different, man. And people always compare things like, were the Giants worse in the 70s or is it worse now? And some people that were watching Giants football were around watching Giants football that long ago. Some of those guys even say how we look right now is worse than how we looked in the 70s. So, I mean, we'll see what it is. So we'll see what it is. But 18-year drought, I'm not prepared for anything like that. Luckily enough for us, obviously, 2017, 2022, New York Giants made the playoffs. So we're not going to beat that record anytime soon. Knock on wood. Knock on wood for that one. I could in 18 years. How old am I going to be in 18 years? We got to hope that we're still around here in 18 years, right? That don't want that type of drought. Sleazy said, "What's good, Dash? What's going on?" Luann said, "It doesn't matter what pick we get. Kind of a little bit. It matters a little bit depending on what the goal is. It matters a little bit. But we're gonna get into that too, for sure. I'm gonna pull up the topics here in a second. Corey says limiting Dex and Dart. I don't think they limit anybody. They already put people on IR. Corey says, is Travis Kelce not going to be a Chief? If so, let's get our butts in gear and make that Nah, he's old, man. We could get him and more. Nah. Travis Kelce is not going to another team to play more football. If he decides to leave the Kansas City Chiefs, he's leaving football, in my opinion. He's leaving football completely. He already had one foot out the door anyway, a few years ago. After they won the last Super Bowl, he was thinking about walking off into the sunset. And then he played again. Lost the Super Bowl, and then he played again this year. I think he might be done. Just think about the Chiefs right now, man. The Chiefs, you got Patrick Mahomes that just went down. He probably won't be ready again until like October, November. You telling me that Travis Kelce is going to play another season without Patrick Mahomes? Nah, I doubt it. He probably walks away. Marries Taylor Swift, and they can have a reality show or something like that, for the next couple of years. Shout out to my man Phil. He says with the $2 super chat says we are guaranteed top 4 if we go 1-1. That's it. Yeah, I mean top 4 if we go 1-1. So we can't drop well, if we win 2, then we drop. Yeah. I'm with it. Top 4 is cool. And thank you very much, Phil, for the fun fact. So we cannot fall any further than the top 4 if we split these next 2 games. Obviously, We got the Raiders tomorrow. A lot of people feel like we can win this game. It's the Toilet Bowl, Battle of the Bums. And then we have the Dallas Cowboys, who seem to be fighting just to be fighting. And they're playing pretty well, pretty good football there. All right, but let's get into these talking points. All right. So, yeah, that's how we can start off on a good note. Start off on a good note. Shout out to Brian Burns. Makes the Pro Bowl this year. Only New York Giant to make the Pro Bowl. I don't know how we feel about that. To me, I thought Andrew Thomas should have been a Pro Bowler too. But again, we got to settle for Brian Burns, 15 sacks on the season, career high for him. So salute to Brian Burns. Salute to Brian Burns. I'm hoping that, and I'm going to call him, he's the new leader of the defense, man. He's the new leader of the defense. I think he took over that title. He took that from Dexter Lawrence. I don't even know if he took it. Dexter Lawrence, is a player on the field type leader, play on the field type leader. But shout out to Brian Burns, nevertheless, Pro Bowler. Again, only one for the New York Giants. Happy that it was him. Wish he would have also had Andrew Thomas on there too. But again, they usually don't show any love for Andrew Thomas, and I don't know why. Here we go with some questions. Shout out to Tiger Metal. Stacky says Dallas still sucks. Donkey nuts. Okay. He also said amen on Burns. And then he also said, are we trading Sexy Dexy? That's a conversation. Actually, you know what? That wasn't a talking point. But I did see people talking about, who was that? Was that Giants chat? Was it Chat Sports? Was it Chat Sports that put that video out? Yeah, I think it was because Marshall Green was talking about that, and he made it clear. He said he doesn't want to trade Dexter Lawrence, but he would understand if that option was out there. For me, it's like this, man. It's simple. I would love to keep Dexter Lawrence. I would love for him to be a part of what turns this team around. Obviously with new coaching, but also when you have a new GM that has hopefully a new GM. We're definitely going to have a new coach. So when you have a new regime, whether it's just a coach or the coach and the GM, a lot of people say that they should have full control of the team and the changes that they want to make. So for me, I'm sitting back like, no, I wouldn't want to trade Dexter Lawrence, but I can understand if they wanted to make that move to trade Dexter Lawrence. Because for me, Dexter Lawrence is another first-round pick. Now it just depends on what that picture the new coach has of the Giants, of the future Giants. So to me, I'm more open than I've ever been on that option of trading Dexter Lawrence, but I still wouldn't do it myself. I know I got a little bit long-winded on that, but yeah, for me, I'm holding on, and I'm hoping that better coaching, brings the best out of Dexter Lawrence again. Another thing is this, man, because a lot of people say that the way that Dexter Lawrence is behaving is if he's pretty much over it and doesn't want to be a Giant anymore. So for me, I'm sitting back like, if he doesn't want to be here anymore, because he seems complacent a little bit now with the losing. He's been, ever since he's been here outside of the 2022 season, the New York Giants have been losers, and that wears on players, especially when you're a guy that feels like, and you saw the video that he put out, I think it was on, not a video, but he had a little section on Hard Knocks where his intentions is to be a Hall of Famer. So if he wants to be a Hall of Famer, I believe he still has some fight in him. But he also needs to play for some winning teams too, in my opinion. So as good as he's been, it was a short window of 3 years where we've seen peak Dexter Lawrence. Does he still have that same Dexter inside of him? Pause. I think so, because we saw a flash of it last week where he was able to get a lot of pressures on the quarterback against a backup center, nevertheless. But still, I think he still has some of that in him. And if the team is successful, if he believes in the coaching staff, then I think you'll probably see more of that from Dex. Shout out to my man Big Moo in the building. Said, yo, Big Dash, what's going on, Big Moo? Team Zavala also in the building. Said, yo, Dash, what up? I'm chilling, team. I'm feeling good. Again, hopefully everybody had a fantastic holiday. I had a fantastic holiday. Got to spend it with family, of course. The kids were happy. Wife was happy. Went to the mall today, did a little bit of shopping, with some of this Christmas money that these kids got from their grandparents and stuff like that. So it was cool. It was cool today. Boys ended up splurging a little bit on top of all the gifts they got for Christmas. So, it was good Christmas. Hopefully your Christmas was good as well. My man Stacy in the building. He says, Dash, I pray that you and your family enjoyed your holiday after catching up with Hard Knocks. The team looked at Kafka like a substitute teacher. Yeah, it's over for Kafka. It's over for Kafka. I wouldn't be surprised if Kafka, ended up being like a positional coach somewhere. He might even drop down to college. I don't know how far the fall is going to be. Hopefully not too far, because again, as a person, Kafka was looked at, as a person, you don't want to root for failures for people. As a professional head coach, he didn't do what he needed to do. He put the handcuffs on Dart. And you know what's crazy about that too, man? People always say that the New York media is so tough. These players can't handle the New York media. But when you see some of these pressers, they don't ask the right questions. Like they ask a question about Dart and, running him less. But they're not really holding these guys to the fire a little bit to make, to force some answers out of them. They letting them get away with just the PC answers. It's in the flow of the game. No, Dart is the flow of the game. There is no getting Dart in the flow of the game. He is the flow of the game. Everything comes from Dart right now. You don't have Scatterable running the ball. You don't have Malik Neighbors catching the ball. So the offense is Jackson Dart. Just like when Jameis Winston was in, the offense was through Jameis Winston. So for me, I'm not trying to hit a touchdown. Packers look like Malik Willis took it for a run. Look like we got us a game again. Now the score is 20-13. Tiger says Pat Leonard asked the right questions. I like Pat Leonard. Shout out to Pat Leonard. I got to get Pat Leonard on here. That's a question for you guys too, man. Again, outside of Brian Burns, I haven't got to the other topics yet. I got a question for you guys. Obviously, the season is coming to a close. I will be jumping into the draft talk, college prospects, combine, draft, all that Senior Bowl stuff. But also, man, there are a couple of beat writers that I would like to invite to the show. You guys let me know if you guys are interested in anything like that, man. If I were to get somebody like Pat Leonard on the show, shout out to my man Evan Barnes, too, another beat writer for the New York. He's not the New York Post. What is he? Daily News, I think, something like that. But let me know if you guys would be interested in something like that, getting some of these beat writers on the channel so you guys can ask them some questions directly too. My man Tiger says yes. Shout out to my man Chris in the building. What's going on, Chris, man? Haven't seen you in a while, man. Shout out to you. Hopefully everything is going well. He says, if the Giants get another first-round pick, do you think the Ohio State Sonny Styles can be in play? Listen, if you watch this channel and if you see it, and Chris, I know you're on Twitter too, man. Sonny Styles is a target for me. I want Sonny Styles in Big Blue, in New York. Sonny Styles, to me, is the best off-ball linebacker in the draft. And I think he's exactly what the New York Giants need. Now, where the New York Giants are picking, if we end, like I said, we can't get any worse than a top 4 pick if we win one game and lose one game. Shout out to my man Phil for that. But Sonny Styles is absolutely a target. If we trade back and we end up somewhere in like the early teens or something like that, and the wide receivers aren't on the board, then he's absolutely in play for me. I did a mock draft too, where I traded out of the number 1 pick. I got some draft capital. I picked in the top 4, and then I also traded it back into the top 10. I think it was the Bengals at 9, and I drafted Sonny Styles. I don't think I posted that one though. But yeah, Sonny Styles is a major target for me right now, especially what he brings to the table for the New York Giants. Big Moose says, Big Dash, get Coach Gene Clemens on the show. Great dude, super smart. I did a show with Coach Gene too, man. Last season, actually. I think it was last season before the season even started. No, shout out to Coach Gene, man. We talk back and forth, man. We talk back and forth. We didn't get a chance to talk as much this season. He's a busy man. But we're active on Twitter. We follow each other and we also communicate too. So now I like Coach Gene too, man. Good dude, and also a good content creator as well. He's out there working with Giants Country Sports. Sports Illustrated? I think that's what Gene is with, right? So yeah, absolutely. Another guy I wanted to try to get on the show is Emery Hunt. He's one of those draft professionals, guys too. So definitely got some things in the works for 2026. Soon as the season over, I'm gonna take probably like a week off, and then we're gonna jump right into these college prospects and stuff like that. So it is what it is. My man Jay Costell said Pat Leonard for sure. Now that's a fact, man. Shout out to Pat. Pat does a good show after the game too, man. He locks himself in a room after the games, and he just holds the stadium hostage for like 2 hours, and he goes live after games. not right after games, because obviously he's at the post game pressers and asking questions, but probably like an hour and a half after the game, Pat Leonard goes live, straight from the stadium, and like I said, he holds himself or barricades himself inside a closet in the stadium, and then runs his show from there. So shout out to Pat Leonard for that, man. Good dude though. Some people don't like Pat, man. That's the funny thing, man. And especially a couple years ago, people didn't like Pat. They gave him the nickname Pat the Rat and all that stuff, man. But now Pat is definitely needed in this Giants community, especially when things aren't going well. He's one of the few guys that holds these, coaches, players accountable and asks the right questions at the end of the day. Him, Dan Duggan is another one. Jordan Renan does it too. It's so many guys out there that do, some of the heavy lifting. So shout out to them, man. If I forget a name, I apologize. Chris Caleb says Art Stapleton would be a good guest. I like Art too, man. Art's becoming feisty though. I like it on Twitter. Some people talk to Art a certain way. He's not having it this year. I saw that different type of energy with Art, and I like it. Again, I get tired of some of the soft questions that people call some of these beat writers homers and stuff like that, where they do the bidding of the New York Giants, or they put out the feelers to the fan base to see how the fan base will react to certain decisions. We see it, man. We're not dumb. But shout out to Art too, man. I like Art. It's not anybody that I really don't like. Got a couple issues with Pat Hanlon a little bit because of, some past history. But outside of that, man, it is what it is. Pat Hanlon blocked some players from getting on, content creator shows. And I think that's a bad look. I think it's a bad look. I think having access, to the Giants players do these type of platforms. Just imagine if I'm able to get somebody like Tyrone Tracy on the show, he can talk directly to the fans, right? Obviously, I would have to, monitor the chat, because sometimes you guys can get a little bit crazy. But normally for me, you guys act right. But man, I tell you, it's not from a lack of working or not from a lack of trying, but we definitely going to make some moves as this channel is growing. And again, with the support from you guys, this channel is doing this thing. Shout out to the 82 people in the building. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed to the channel already. So we got some news today. Some guys got put on IR. Andrew Thomas was one of them. JMS was another one. DJ Davison was another one. And then also Tyler Newbin, all put on IR today. So a lot of people look at those names on that list and say, oh, this is absolutely the tank. The tank is in full effect. But all these guys got put on IR today. But also, I got some good news. Somebody is finally getting the chance this season. Turbo Miller was elevated. Turbo Miller was finally elevated from the practice squad. So hopefully he's not inactive, because he can actually get, called up and then also get placed on being inactive for the game. But I'm hoping that Turbo Miller actually gets some plays tomorrow. Wouldn't that be funny? Wouldn't it be funny if Turbo Miller just has himself a game where he's contributing off the bat, and then us as New York Giants fans will be looking at the coaching staff like, we've been calling for Turbo Miller all year. So yeah, but Turbo Miller, I'm hoping Turbo Miller gets a chance to get a couple of touches, man. Pause. Hopefully he can make some plays. But he's finally getting the chance. Got called up from the practice squad, and you figure somebody that does nothing but work, and he's finally getting his chance. Even though the New York Giants have won so many games with just 2 running backs on the roster. Now, with Turbo Miller elevated, you got what? Well, actually, I think about it, now you'll have 4 running backs on the roster now with Eric Gray. So unless something happened to Eric Gray, but it is what it is. Shout out to my big bro. He says, like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's get dashed to 10K. This channel is nothing without the love and support from the subs. Let's go. Now, that's a fact, man. Again, I can't keep saying that this year has been, in all honesty, this year has been the best year. Added more lives to the channel. More people are tuning in. And yeah, I would say this is one of the most successful years, the biggest years, people tuning in. So shout out to y'all for that. We almost at the 10K mark. I think I'm just under 100. I'm sorry, just over 100. Just over 100 subs to get to that 10K mark. So that's what we rolling with, man. And that's actually my goal. That was my goal when I started was 100 subscribers, then 1,000, and then 10,000 was like, if I get to 10,000, like Pennywise, I can rest for 26 years. But nah, man. Shout out to everybody for real, man. If it wasn't for you guys, man, this channel wouldn't be where it is. I would still be here talking to the air, possibly, if so many people didn't tune in. But I'll still be here talking to Giants. But nevertheless, love you guys for that, man. Absolutely. Shout out to my man LRP in the building. Said, "What up, Dash? Merry New Year, everyone. Merry New Year." I might have to steal that one. Nah, shout out to my man LRP, man. What's going on, bro? Chris says, not a beat writer, but I think license plate guy, aka Joe Roback, yeah, could be a dope guest. Yeah, for me and license plate guy, we're finally at that point where I feel like he's accessible. Because before, he's on IG and he's all over the place. The #1 Giants fan. He holds that title right now. And has had it for a while. Listen, I'm with it. If I can get him on the show, I will do that, man. If you guys got a list, man, send me a list. Ain't nothing but guess what? The hardest thing that they can say, or I should say that the worst thing that they can say is no. And then we move on from there. So it is what it is. Leo Luca, we talking about coaches still. I like McCarthy or the Notre Dame coach. You guys know how I feel about McCarthy, man. I think McCarthy will be a rental. I know McCarthy is a solid coach. I think McCarthy would get the Giants in the right direction. I don't know if McCarthy can get you over the hump, though. But a lot of people said, hey, you got to start somewhere. Some people like the comparison to Tom Thibodeau with the Knicks. Got the team turned around, and then the next coach took over. I don't want to do that. I don't want to have McCarthy for 3 years and then already think about his replacement. Now, one thing about Mike McCarthy is he might get some coordinators in here that can, possibly be the guys that take over for him once he leaves. But he's definitely still on the list. I think he absolutely gets an interview. I think he's probably going to be in the Giants' top 4 to 5 candidates, depending on who we actually interview. But in this case, for me, I like the energy of Marcus Freeman. I like the energy of that, and then it seems like something fresh, something new. And even though it's a chance because he really doesn't have that type of experience at the professional level, but if he can nail the coordinators, he should be a good hire as well. You also have Shula in there. You also have Jeff Hafley. You had Clint Kubiak. If you want to go on the offensive side, it's a lot of candidates out there. There won't be a shortage of candidates. I don't think so, at least. Lou Anarumo is another one that people are throwing out there. Not my cup of tea, but he comes with a strong defense. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Tiger says, Happy New Year. Isaac says, Jets want us to lose too. Yeah, they do. They don't want to have to spend all that draft capital to try to get Mendoza. That's what they don't want to do. We're going to move this conversation along the toilet bowl or the tank bowl or the mega tank bowl. Shout out to Giants Nation show. I think it was Bobby Skinner. He claimed it or named it the mega tank bowl. That's his. For me, I'm calling it the toilet bowl. Still got a tank in it, but it's the toilet bowl for me. Battle of the Bums. And that's a third touchdown for Derrick Henry tonight. Good Lord. It's for this game, right? So again, I don't root for losses. I do want the New York Giants to win. But I understand what happens if we do lose this game and what it means for the future of the New York Giants. What I will say is this too, though. I need to see a game from Jackson Dart. That's what I need to see. I need to see Jackson Dart after these 2 games where it didn't look the greatest, and the last game was pretty bad. I need to see a bounce back game from Jackson Dart. I need to see a bounce back game from Mike Kafka in regards to his play calling. I need to see some aggressiveness on the offensive side of the ball. If the defense can show up like they did last week, then the New York Giants might, in fact, win this game. You saw the people that were out for the Giants. Then you look at the Raiders. Max Crosby got put on IR. They're talking about he might need knee surgery, but a lot of people are thinking that's a lie. And that is just, the tank for the Raiders as well. But for me, I'm sitting back like, man, stress-free with this game. Outside of if we win, then I'm going to be stressing over this #1 pick and how far we fall back, at least for the week, because I don't like our chances against Dallas the way they're playing right now. But yeah, man, this game, I think this game will be entertaining. I did say that in the video, because a lot of people are expecting this game just to be horrible. But we already know that, when it comes to Geno Smith is not much. But for some reason, he plays pretty well against the New York Giants in certain cases. Not when he played with us, or for us, I should say. When he played against the Raiders, what was that? 2017? I think so. But for me, I could see this game being a shootout, possible shootout. The New York Giants scoring in the mid-20s. I can see the Raiders scoring in the mid-20s. Ashton Genty coming off a pretty good game, very good game last week. New York Giants can't stop the run. He could go off tomorrow too. So, despite the stigma of calling it the Tank Bowl or the Toilet Bowl, as I call it, it actually might be an entertaining game as far as the offensives go. So we'll see what happens though. Some people are going to get some looks. Obviously, with Andrew Thomas out, we're going to see Marcus Bowe play. He needs those snaps. With JMS out, you're going to see Austin Schlottman out there. But also, the Giants have had a center named Brian Hudson, UDFA, that we picked up. Actually, I don't think he was a UDFA. He might be a second-year guy. But he played very well in the preseason, Brian Hudson at center. And I wouldn't mind seeing him get some snaps too. But again, if you got Dart out there, let's go ahead and keep him protected at the end of the day. But it's going to be a little bit easier with Max Crosby not roaming around out there. Isaac says Raiders ain't trading the pick. Oh no, they definitely taking whoever the quarterback might be. And again, if it's Mendoza, if it's Dante Moore, depending on which one of those guys they like more, then most likely that's going to be their guy. If the Raiders are sitting at 2, they don't need to trade up or trade back, depending on how they feel about these quarterbacks. If two quarterbacks come out, I think it's going to be. I'll say this: for the New York Giants, you probably only want one of these quarterbacks to come out if you have that number 1 spot. You want Dante Moore to stay in college, and you want Fernando Mendoza to be the guy. Why? Because that drives up the price for the quarterback. And if we're sitting at 1 overall, then you're probably going to get a lot more phone calls or a heftier package for that number 1 pick. If 2 quarterbacks come out, if Dante Moore comes out with Mendoza and we're sitting at 1, I think teams might actually call our bluff. I think that and in the worst case scenario for the New York Giants, if we get stuck and have to pick at 1, that would be the worst case scenario. If teams are just like, you know what, I like these quarterback class, or I like Fernando Mendoza, but I'm not giving up this incredible haul to move up for this guy, right? So in that case, then the Giants might be stuck, and then that's like the worst thing imaginable. And then you're talking about possibly drafting Caleb Downs, which is it's nothing on the player. It's just that as far as picks go, you don't get a haul, and the New York Giants need a haul. Man Dinka said, should I bench Genty this week? Absolutely not. You better play Genty. Genty, I can see Genty getting a two touchdown game this week. I can see that happen, especially short down situations, especially get around the goal line. You know how this defense is in the goal line. We give it up. Pause. It is what it is. Tomlin ain't happening, man. Tomlin is not happening. We got to get that up. I knew it wasn't real too, man. When I started to soften up a little bit, pause, on Mike Tomlin might actually be available. They go on like a 2-week or 2-game winning streak. And they look like they about to clinch the playoffs, depending on what happens in this game that we're watching tonight with the Ravens. If they make it to the playoffs, man, Tomlin ain't going there. I don't think Tomlin was going anywhere anyway. But we'll see what happens. We gotta look other places for our coach. We need a young coach. Lorenzo says we need a young coach. Cookie Monster says absolutely not to Marcus Freeman. No college coaches. Absolutely not. What's going on, Cookie Monster? How you doing, man? My life at full speed. My man Jay Costell says we need to hash this lawsuit out and get Brian Flores. Money solves the issues, man. That's what it is, man. That's what I've been saying on Twitter. It's nothing that a little money can't fix when it comes to Brian Flores, man. He got blackballed. You know, he got sent from, what was he? He went from being the head coach at the Miami Dolphins to being a linebackers coach with the Steelers, then got the job in Minnesota Vikings and been knocking it out the park ever since. I want Brian Flores as the next coach in the New York Giants. I just don't know how possible it's going to be, but I will keep on saying that till it doesn't happen. Because as long as the New York Giants do not hire a new coach, there's a chance that Brian Flores might be that guy. So if there's even a little bit of a chance, I'm going to be rooting for that for sure. I think that Brian Flores is the guy that we need in this locker room to straighten up some of these players, to straighten up this what do they call the country club type of atmosphere that 1925 Giants Drive has turned into, or Giants Way. Is it Giants Drive? Giants Way. Giants Drive. Yeah. Lorenzo says, "Stash, happy new beginnings." There was a comment that I saw. I think I missed. I wanted to highlight it, but it was a few messages ago, so I can't get it. Actually, let me go ahead and put it so you guys can see your comments as well on the screen. I don't know how clear that is, but hopefully you guys can see that. Yeah. Jarius, what's going on, Jarius? I ain't seen you in a while, brother. Says Dash, I wish we could get Flores. Now that's a fact. What's going on, Jarius? I know you be watching this. I ain't seen you in the comment section in a while, though, in the chat. So shout out to you. Shout out to Big Moo, getting the member for 4 months. He says, I just hope Dart doesn't get killed without AT. I think he'll be all right. And thank you for the 4-month membership, man. For the 4 month, I appreciate the love and support as always, Big Moo. Shout out to my guy, Big Moo, man. Isaac Moore says third stringers. Luann says, damn shame that our season is over in October. Same the last couple of years, but next season Giants will win the division. I believe that. Speaking of that, man, the damn Eagles, first time in 20 seasons that we have a back-to-back winner in the NFC East, man. That was another thing I could hold my hat on, saying that these guys wouldn't be repeat division winners, but look at that. Boom. They get it. I'm not sure about the Eagles, though, man, in the playoffs. How you guys feel about the Eagles in the playoffs? I don't know. I don't know if they make it. This is the first time I really feel like the Super Bowl is wide open for all teams, actually, whoever's making the playoffs. And I will say this too, because I believe they clinched. Yeah, the Houston Texans clinched. So I wouldn't want to be a team to play the Texans in the playoffs right now. That defense is something else, man. The way that they're playing, that shout out to D'Amico Ryans from starting the season 0-3 to being where they are right now at what, 11-5. That's 8 straight wins in a row. I wish. And it's funny too, because a lot of people said that D'Amico Ryans was on a hot seat with that 0-3 start. And sometimes we gotta stop being so fast to judge people. And that's going to be the next segue, talking about this conversation with Jackson Dart. Let me get to a couple more comments before I talk about Jackson Dart. You see the talking point. I put Dart, and then in quotations I put regressing. That's been the word for the past week now. Last week it was trade Dart for Mendoza. Now it's Dart is regressing. And that's like the funniest thing in the world to me. Dart is regressing. It's still his first season. How can he regress in his first season? Now, next year, if he's playing bad, then that's what I would call regressing. But we're talking right now, this is the roller coaster. This is the up and downs, the valleys and the peaks when it comes to a rookie quarterback. And he's done way more good than bad. So it's funny to me when I see people like Mike Tannenbaum and a lot of people that I know were ex-players, but I can't even tell you their names because I don't know who they are. I just know that they're on TV. They're telling you that Dart is regressing. You got beat writers. I even saw Paul Schwartz said that Dart is regressing. And I'm like, wait a minute. This is the same team that allowed Daniel Jones to be here 6 years. And Dart's been here 6 months. 6 months. And we talking about him regressing. It's crazy to me. Now, if the point is Dart has not looked good in the last since Mike Kafka has taken over, then I can't argue with that. But to say the man is regressing, that's just a wild statement to make. That's a wild claim to make. And then people saying that they would move on from Dart right now and go with Mendoza. Like, did you not see Drake make last year versus this year? Did you not see Caleb Williams, an even better example, last year versus this year? One coaching staff versus a new coaching staff, and you see that both of those teams are in the playoffs after both of those teams were picking in the top 10, and the Patriots picked right behind us this year at 4. And I put out a tweet that said, New York Giants, or a video, I should say, New York Giants fans, we don't deserve Dart. And then some people in comments say, what has Dart done? Just giving hope to the fan base. Let's start there. And I know some people in the chat here still feel the same way. Like they like Mendoza. They want Mendoza. And I got a simple question for you guys. And I'm gonna ask this question. Anybody can answer. I want a lot of people to answer. And I will get to these comments while you guys fill out these answers. But if you didn't have the first overall pick, right? If the Giants did not have the first overall pick, would you be trying to, for the people that love Mendoza so much, would you be trading up for Mendoza if you did not have the number 1 pick? And that should answer your question right there. So let me know that in the comment section. Let me get to some of these comments, though. But if you did not have the number 1 pick overall, for the people that love Fernando Mendoza so much, would you trade up, give up picks for Fernando Mendoza? Let me know. Let me know. Shout out to Melvin in the building. He says, let's get Chris Shula, or the Ravens head coach. Harbaugh, man. Harbaugh coaching for his job. I believe that. I think he's on the hot seat. I think that they could part ways with him. I think his voice might be getting a little stale in Baltimore. This is a Super Bowl winning head coach. He does have a good name still around the league. So if he were to get fired, some people look at him right away. I'm not too sure about Harbaugh for this reason. I've seen him play with Lamar Jackson, and this game that's on right now is not a good example of what I'm trying to say. But again, this is just how I feel. I've seen him play games with Lamar Jackson and games without Lamar Jackson. And the team has looked horrible without Lamar Jackson. Now, they did finally get Snoop Huntley back. You figure they got rid of him last year. He was pretty much a journeyman, but they finally got him back to back up Lamar Jackson. So they're actually doing a pretty good job tonight. But I don't know. I don't know about Harbaugh, man. I don't know if his voice is stale. I don't know if he demands the same respect as he used to. I don't know if the Super Bowl win has worn off a little bit. But we see that Lamar Jackson has made some type of comments and stuff like that. So is Harbaugh really what you want? Now, do I think he falls into that same category as Mike McCarthy? Absolutely. His history is his history. He has a Super Bowl win. He has been competitive in one of the toughest divisions in the league for the past 20 years. But what's the deal with Harbaugh? I don't know. Gilly G says if Shane doesn't go well, we'll continue to be doomed. I do believe in that wholeheartedly. I do want Shane gone. Just the cap situation, not having enough good depth is another thing for him that I hold against him. So yeah, if Shane, I think you have to complete the cleaning of the house, and Shane has to go at the end of the season. Shout out to my man Tuto in the building. 499 super chat says massive salute and respects to Big Dash and all the diehard Giant fans in America. Greetings from the entire rugby club in Italy. Blessed and safe holidays to everyone, Giants Nation. Shout out to you, Tuto, man. Did you win the game last week? Because I forget where you were last week. I can't remember where you were, but it seems like you guys are back home. So shout out to y'all, man. Hopefully you had a fantastic and blessed holiday as well. But shout out to my man Tuto, man. If you're a Giants fan and you watch Giants content, you know exactly who Tuto is. Always showing love and respect for sure. Yardy07 says, hey, brother Dash. He says, I know you don't like speaking on it, but do you think Tomlin is a possibility? If not, what do you think about the head coach from Notre Dame? If you haven't already said, I did already talk about it. I don't think Tomlin is happening, but if Tomlin was available, that's a no-brainer for me. If you asked me 3 weeks ago about Marcus Freeman, I would tell you I have no interest in Marcus Freeman because he has no connections to the NFL. But I'm starting to warm up to the idea of Marcus Freeman if he's able to, get the right coordinators in the building with him. So that's how I feel about that. And then what was it? It was a third question, or I think that was it. Yeah. Now that was it. Yeah. No. I'm warming up to Marcus Freeman. I don't think that Mike Tomlin is leaving the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't think that happens. Gilly says Eagles need Lane always holding. He always got a false start going on too, man. Lane Johnson. He might have cleaned that up a little bit though. Lorenzo says Big Blue Nation stand up, tank bowl, toilet bowl, whatever you want to call it. Big Moose says regressing. He's not calling the plays. There you go. Tiger says, I love Dart. Simeon, what's going on? Simeon says Dart isn't regressing. Teams have film on him now. He must adjust. I think the play calling needs to adjust too, man, because despite what we're saying, we're still seeing him running around and creating time. For me, it's just that when he's creating that extra time, nobody's getting open. That's the difference, man. And I think the teams, like you said, to your point, they do have tape on him now, more tape on him now. But also, I think he has those intangibles that he can, he can continue to evolve and be able to take his game to the next level. Again, we're talking about a rookie in a rookie season. I'm sorry, a rookie quarterback in his rookie season, trying to get better. So that's what it is. You can't, like I said, what are you comparing him to? 1 week? You can't compare a quarterback week to week in his rookie year. Like, what are we doing? You can compare a rookie season versus a sophomore season, and then saying something, say something like that. Like, just for example, was CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud with the Texans, one of the best rookie seasons ever until Jaden Daniels did it the year after that. But one of the best rookie seasons ever. And then you see him in the sophomore season, look like he's in the sophomore slump. And then you look at this year, and he looks like he's at the top of his game again. So that's something that you can compare whole seasons versus whole seasons. You can't compare week 5 to week 8 or week 9 and then say this guy's regressing. Or the play calling has been atrocious. We can say that. We can say that Mike Kafka, because Mike Kafka been calling plays for years now, and we can see the difference. Excuse me, on how he's calling these plays. Isaac Moore says, "You see what a quarterback is made of when he doesn't play well. That's a fact. That's why I want Dart to play well tomorrow." Again, I never root for losses. I do want the New York Giants to win. I understand what a loss means for the future of the franchise. I want Jackson Dart because Jackson Dart also is the future of the franchise. I need to see him put a game together for his own mental health. You know what I mean? For his own mental health, I need to see it. Phil says, Dash, would you trade Miami pick 1 for pick 10, second round, third round, 27 first? Oh, 27 first and Waddle. First of all, you're not getting all that and Waddle. I don't believe any, like, let's be honest, man. I like Fernando Mendoza. You guys like Fernando Mendoza. He is not Andrew Luck. You are not dead. I don't know what. Again, we still got to wait for the college playoff to happen. We'll see what happens. But again, his track record is not that of a guy that you're going to spend all these picks for. Now, if NFL GMs are not bright and they want to give the Giants whatever the Giants ask for, then fine, because we'll be on the receiving end of that deal. But I don't know if you getting all that and all they get is Mendoza. I don't know about that. I really don't. Shout out to Tudo. 999 Super Chat says, Big Dash. He said, damn right, mate. We smashed one in France, okay? And we're in the playoffs and shocked the rugby union world. But unfortunately, our club's been reduced to to UPS and Uber drivers due to too many injuries and suspensions, mate. Sorry to hear that. I'm happy that you won. Sorry to hear that your roster's been decimated by injuries. Hopefully you guys get healthy. How long is the season, though? How many games do y'all play? How long does the season last? I'm not familiar. But I will say this, though. Seeing grown men with no pads running into each other, I'm not surprised with the amount of injuries that are happening. That's a cold sport. Tough sport. Yeah. Nah. Nope. No, sir. Much respect to you. Let me see what we got going on. Luann says Dable was fired too soon, and it has been said. It's Dable's fault that he got fired when he got fired. All Dable had to do was fire Shane Bowen first, and he might have lasted a little bit longer. If Dable would have fired Shane Bowen after the Chicago Bears game, he probably would have stayed a little bit longer. And who knows? But he still would have stayed long enough to get fired at the end of the season. So I don't know if it's better for him or not that he's still getting paid. But at the end of the 2025 season, he would have been fired anyway, no matter what he would. But maybe he would have held on a little bit longer if he made that move. One thing that hindered Brian Dable was his loyalty to Shane Bowen. He got fired, and Shane Bowen got fired. So to me, what are you doing? Loyalty, though. And the funny thing about that is that's exactly what Wink did. Wink had loyalty to his his positional coaches. Was the Wilkins brothers. And when Dable fired the Wilkins brothers and let Wink know about it, Wink was through after that. He stood on business. Dable stood on business, and look, he got fired. Wink ended up fired. Wink's all right now in Michigan, but again, guys get fired depending on what your loyalty is. If you're not getting the results, people got to go. And again, that's why I think Joe Schoen should be next, because we're not getting the results. Bad coaching or not. You can say that we need better coaching, which we do, but also look at the roster. Look at the position that we're in with this roster, especially going into the 2026 free agency. A lot of people that we need to replace now because we're not bringing all these guys back, clearly. And also, there's a couple of deals out there where we need to move some players around. And again, we don't have replacements for them. So it is what it is. Tuto getting a lot of love in the chat. Shout out to Tuto again. Hassan said Shane must be fired. I agree 100%. And again, we don't like to celebrate the loss of jobs. Again, the NFL is a lot different. It's not a regular 9 to 5. It's not a regular career. This everything is pretty much results driven, though. As far as every job that we have is results driven. If you're not doing a good job, you get fired. But as far as nobody, like for the regular person like you and me, there's nobody rooting. Well, I'll speak for myself. We hope there's nobody rooting for me to lose my job. But when you're looking at an NFL GM, an NFL head coach, you have people that will celebrate somebody losing their job. It's just different. Hopefully we're able to compartmentalize the difference, and we don't just look like a bunch of horrible human beings hoping somebody gets fired. Good Lord. Story mode says, what's some GM candidates if Shane is hopefully let go? I'm glad you say that. I got a couple of names still here. John McKay, who's the assistant general manager of the Rams. Ray Farmer, senior advisor with the Rams. Ray Agnew is an assistant general manager with the Detroit Lions. Obviously, I think Brandon Brown gets an interview if Shane is fired. I think they would like to move on, though, from the entire regime if they're going to start new. Ed Dodd is another guy from the Colts. He's the AGM for the Colts. Ryan Cowden, who was just with the Giants last year. He's a VP of player personnel for the Patriots. When Vrabel went to the Patriots, he came and got his guy, Ryan Cowden. I wish he would have came and got Shane Bowen too, but he didn't come and get Shane Bowen. But yeah, that's the list of the people that I'm currently researching. And when I do put out, if Shane is in fact fired, I got a video not ready to go, but I got a video that I'm ready to record to put out with all these candidates and some background information on these guys, so you guys know who some of these people are. Now, obviously, there's going to be some people that are not even on this list that are going to get interviews or be possible candidates, but those are the names that I have right now. I know somebody had asked for some names before. I didn't have any. Told you I was working on it, but that's the names that I have right now. So, let you guys know that I'm working. I am absolutely working. Corey says, Tate or Tyson said, wide receiver to get. What do you think? I like both of those guys. And I'm happy. I'm happy that I'm finally seeing people talk about Jordan Tyson's injuries. Because I felt like I was going crazy. I felt like I was the only person that had some reservations for Jordan Tyson because of the injuries. Every year, every season he's played, he's had injuries. Now, you're already dealing with Malik Neighbors, who got the toe issue, got a back issue, got a neck issue, got the knee, coming off the knee. I can't go and grab Jordan Tyson, too, knowing that he gets nicked up all the time. So for me, Tate and Mekhi Lemon are my choices for wide receiver in the first round. Now, if we happen to draft Jordan Tyson, I'm going to be banking and praying and hoping that he can stay healthy. Because if he can stay healthy, he is a phenomenal prospect. And I would think he would be like a 1A to Malik Neighbors. You got Neighbors as wide receiver 1 and then wide receiver 8, Jordan Tyson, because he is that talented, is that skillful. Carnell Tate gives you a little bit something different, more of a possession receiver because of his height, body control. He will move the chains, but he's also fast too. Shout out to Ohio State. The way they find wide receivers, or I should say, the way they just pick up wide receivers, most likely you can't go wrong with an Ohio State wide receiver right now because they got almost everything that you're looking for. They got sure hands. They're most likely fast. I haven't seen a slow Ohio State wide receiver in a long time. And then they're tough as hell too. So man, I like Tate as a perfect complement to Malik Neighbors, but I can't sit here and ignore the fact that Mekhi Lemon might be the most explosive wide receiver in the draft. He's already the Blitnikoff winner. So for those that don't know, Mekhi Lemon, wide receiver, for USC for the Trojans, he is the most explosive wide receiver in the draft, in my opinion. One-on-one, nightmare. Speed, agility, inside, outside, can play all the positions for the most part. Not the tallest, not the biggest, 5'11", about 195 pounds. So that means when we get to the combine, he might even be like 5'10", 190 pounds. You know how these college teams, lie. But the tape don't lie. And I'm pretty sure he probably runs a low 4.40. But again, toughness, playmaking ability, Mekhi Lemon is all that. I just think that when you see Carnell Tate with Ohio State, he's put above that. And then just some of the wild plays you see from Jordan Tyson, right there too. If Jordan Tyson did not have the injury history, then he would easily be like number one over Tate, in my opinion. But I just can't look past those injuries, man. Whether it's the calf, the shoulder, was it clavicle or shoulder for him? Yeah, then he tore his knee up, I think 2 years ago. So he's been banged up a lot. Man, Dinkin says Jameis had Hodgins putting up numbers. He did. That's the crazy thing too, man. That's what I didn't like, man. When we had those two games, the Green Bay game, the Detroit game with Jameis Winston, I was looking at this offense like, wow. Looking at the guys contributing, like, okay, this is what I've been looking for. Explosive plays down the field, all over the field, actually, with Jameis Winston. So I thought when Dart got back that they were going to play a similar type of offense. It didn't look the same. Now, some people will say it's Jackson Dart. Some people will say it's Mike Kafka. I'm going to say it's Jameis Winston because Jameis Winston does what he always does, give players chances. And he gave players chances. You saw some of those passes. They weren't wide open. He just gave the wide receiver the chance to make a play. Now for Jackson Dart, you saw that. You see that in spurts where he just throws the ball whether the guy is, open or not, and somebody makes a play. And most times it's Theo Johnson or something like that. They're out there making plays if not somebody's wide open. But the more that he gets comfortable at this level with this speed, again, that's why I want him to play and not sit for the rest of the season like some other people are saying. But once he does that, and I think you'll see the same type of plays that Jameis Winston was making from the pocket. You'll see Jackson Dart be able to do the same things because he'll be more comfortable. Jameis Winston is comfortable. Jameis Winston been in the league over 10 years. Jameis Winston is also 6'5". Jameis Winston got nothing to lose. And you can see that in the play. Just think about the flea flicker that he had. He just chucked that up there. It is what it is. Jackson Dart's still trying to get his feel of the game. Again, a rookie versus a 10-year veteran, even though it's just Jameis Winston. But shout out to Jameis Winston, man. That's who I would love to get on the show is Jameis Winston. I would absolutely love that. See if that can happen, but Pat Hanlon will probably block me. Let's get to some of these super chats. Tudo with the $4.99 super chat says Big Dash rugby unions men's sports make contrary to lame NFL players. We don't wear pads. He says helmets, no diapers. We tackle and hit with bad intentions to destroy. Listen, yeah, it takes a special kind of person to play rugby, especially at the professional level, because we talk about 200 plus pound men flying into each other with no pads. That's different. That's different. I got to ask you a question, though, too, though. Because you guys don't wear helmets, do you guys avoid the head clashes? And what is the concussion? What is the concussion-like thing going on with rugby? Is it heavy concussions, or you guys are naturally more protective of your heads because you don't got helmets on? I'm curious. Pause. Phil says, with the $5 super chat says, say we are at 3. You trying to trade out? Who you trading at 3? Who you taking at 3? If not, would you trade back mid first for a haul and pick up Styles as your first pick? So if we get stuck at 3, you only it might be a little bit early for Tate Tyson, but absolutely Caleb Downs comes to play depending on how you feel about his safety. I see a lot of people thinking that Caleb Downs might slide in the draft, even though right now he's a top player in the top prospect in the draft early still. Because he plays the safety position, you might see him fall. You might be able to get him, in the 7, 8, 9, 10 range, possibly. If you would have said that a couple weeks ago, I would have said you're absolutely nuts. He's the best player in the draft. What are we talking about? But when you look at the safety position, just doesn't have that same respect. Even though on the field, safeties, make a lot of plays. But if we're there again, Caleb Downs is the option. I think Tyson is an option. I think that Tate is going to rise up the boards even more, so he can be a viable option at 3-2. But it's just kind of high, man. I want to trade back a little bit more. To your point, I would trade back again if I can get a haul, and I would pick up Sonny Styles. I think Sonny it's off-ball linebackers are not the sexiest pick. It's not a wide receivers. It's not a pass rusher. It's none of that. It's not your left tackle. But when it comes to play on the field, middle line, how important are middle linebackers? We know that. Another Packers player getting driven off on a cart today. That's the second time we've seen the cart come out. So for me, I'm like, trade back. What I want is an additional third round pick. I want an additional day. Well, I want an additional day 2 pick. Having 2 first rounds is cool. A first this year and a first in 2027. That's cool. Once we get out of that top pick, I can guarantee you, if we're not picking number 1, whatever trade back package we get is not going to include probably a number 1 in next year's draft. You're probably going to be stuck with a smaller package. Pause. But it is what it is. It is what it is. But Sonny Styles again is somebody that I would absolutely want on this team. Shout out to my man Wales. What's going on, Wales? How we doing, Wales? Wales, man, how did you feel? How did you feel about last week's knockout, man? Jake Paul finally got put down, I should say. How'd you feel about that, man? But he says, salute, Dash, mate. We're a team, but we're loyal. We are absolutely loyal. Shout out to everybody that's in here, man. 101 people, man. Again, make sure you hit that like button. We're absolutely loyal. If you guys are vibing with me right now, talking about the New York Giants at night, what time is it? 10 o'clock at night over there on the East Coast, man. And we're talking about the New York Giants that currently have 2 wins. We're absolutely loyal to this team. Big blue for sure. Bleed blue for sure. Shout out to all y'all. Y'all just as crazy as I am. That's a fact. I got to get caught up on these comment sections. Hold on just a moment. Man, Dinka says Giants. Dart has the Giants running the Ole Miss offense because he can't grasp NFL concepts. Shaking my head. I'm not going to argue against that, man. Again, there's levels to this. One of the things that people said about Jackson Dart coming out is that Ole Miss system is quarterback friendly. But also what I've been seeing in a lot of these player breakdowns of the Giants offense, a lot of the route concepts that Kafka is throwing out there aren't some of the best concepts either. But again, he got to learn. Dart got to get better. We're gonna hold his feet to the fire. He got to play better. Why? Because we've seen him play better. A lot of that is him, off script. Again, a lot of people keep saying that Brian Dable was coaching Dart differently. No, Dart was just more successful when the play broke down when Dable was here. It's still a lot of the same plays. Again, nobody's getting open. Last week, for example, how many drop passes? There were 2 passes that would have gave him an additional 100 yards. 2 drops alone that would have gave, 1 bad pass and 1 drop that would have gave him an additional 100 yards. And so that 33-yard game that everybody's laughing at would have been at least, 133 yards. And then you look at some of the other plays where guys drop passes, because there were a couple drop passes in that game. You're probably looking at a game that looks very, very, on pace with what he's done the rest of the season. So there's a couple plays here and there that you're sitting here like, yeah, this game and the narrative of the game is a lot different if this pass is caught or if that pass was better. or if this guy makes a play, if that guy makes a play. So again, we're not going to sit here and coddle Jackson Dart, but we also got to realize what else is going on around him too. It is what it is. Just think about how people talked about Caleb Williams last year, and then look at him with Ben Johnson. That's all I got to say at the end of the day. And I'd rather keep working with that guy than to try to take another chance on somebody that I have not seen play at this level yet. Like, even though how much I like Mendoza, I've seen Dart at this level already, and we don't have a clue what Mendoza will look like at this level. Shout out to Tudo again, $9.99 super chat. Again, I appreciate the love and support. Says Big Dash. Hold on, let me put that up. Big Dash World Tournament Rugby Union League has many stages qualifying to advance to next level in playoffs. We're 12-7 so far, still alive with average roster, but we're blessed with elite coaches. Coaches will do it. Even with rugby, any sport, coaches matter. Baseball, the managers matter. Having good leaders matter. Isaac Moore says Hyatt won the Bolitnikov too. That is true. That is true. But when you look at Makai Lemon, there's not a route that he can't run, and that was one of the biggest thing about Hyatt. He can't run routes. I think Hyatt can run routes. He just run routes. He just can't get separation. Makai Lemon can do that. Also, the amount of wiggle that Makai Lemon has after the ball is in his hands. Like, again, when we saw Jalen Hyatt at Tennessee, a lot of the deep shots running in the straight line after that, nobody's catching them. No, Makai Lemon is making people miss and breaking it off. So, but again, don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. Go check out Makai Lemon for yourself. But that is, yeah, but you're right. Hyatt did win the Bolitnikov. Also, man, you know what's crazy about that too, man? Obviously, I think Hyatt is going to get another chance somewhere. And I hope for the best for him. I really do. I really do. I do hope for the best. Somebody's going to find a spot for him somewhere where he does what he does best, and he's going to make plays for somebody. Just won't be with the Giants. Who knows? Maybe. King Chris TV says, watch Turbo score. He might score tomorrow. He might in fact score tomorrow, man. That might be funny too, man. Because again, we've been waiting for Turbo too. We wanted to give Turbo a chance at the beginning of the season, right? Right. Rev is in the building. What's going on, Rev? Said, what up, Big Dash? How you doing, Rev? Happy Saturday to you. Hopefully you had a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Hopefully you also have a fantastic New Year. Shout out to Rev in the building. Greg T says Downs is similar to Jabril Peppers. Shout out to Jersey. Shout out to Jabril Peppers. Downs is like Jabril Peppers on steroids. On steroids. People forget how good Peppers was coming out of college, though. Peppers was nice. Peppers was good for us too. But Downs is like you got Peppers, then you got Downs. Like Downs is up there. Downs is different. But Peppers was good. No disrespect to Peppers again. Shout out to Jersey. Stacy says Jacoby Lane is a 6'5" wide receiver that runs a 4.5 and could be had in the second round. The Senior Bowl, Shrine, and Combine will determine draft stock. He got some good tape too, man. He's also the wide receiver. He's the second wide receiver from USC with Makai Lemon. Again, the measurables you see it, 6'5", not the thickest, pause, but definitely got the height, got the speed. Can run the routes. He's nice. Reminds me of Higgins a little bit. That was at Iowa State. But yeah, I like Jacoby Lane, and you're absolutely right. He'll be available in the second round for sure. Will says it was good to see a Brit do it. Talk about Anthony Joshua. Yeah, man. It took somebody else. It took somebody else to come across the pond and put him down, right? Bro, the way you saw the pictures of his jaw, good Lord. The first clean shot he really landed, it was over. The funny thing about it, he took the shot, even though he broke his jaw, he took the shot pretty well as far as being able to get back up. but it was over after that. Well, no fight left. No fight left. Big Bro says Big Dash merch still and always available. Rep your team and support the channel. Now that's a fact. That's a fact, man. Again, shout out to my big bro, always showing me love and respect, man. Also showing me support too, man. At the end of the day, this channel was not the biggest, but I do believe I got the best supporters, the best people that to hang out with than anybody. And a lot of us, I mean, a lot of you guys are all over the place, but I'm saying when we have these late night Giants talk, I think the atmosphere is cool. I think the chat is fantastic. We don't get a lot of trolls. We don't get a lot of people coming in here and just disrupting what we got going on. And I thank you guys for that. You guys always bring that vibe, man, and I appreciate you guys more than you know. Let's see. It was a King Chris TV says everyone keeps talking about Dart. It's the play calling to me. I think it's the play calling too. Luann says I want less running from Dart next season. I think it's more of you want less risk with Dart for next season. Nobody cares if he can get out of bounds or if he can get down and not take the hits. I don't think anybody cares if that happens. That's part of his game. We just gotta accept that until he gets older and his legs don't work the same, being able to extend plays and run around, get first downs, that's just part of his game for sure. 10-point game right now. Baltimore's up 27-17. Green Bay Packers fighting themselves out of the end zone right now. So we'll see what happens with that. I know my wife is rooting for the Packers right now because she does not want them Ravens anywhere near that division. Knicks won 102-94. Is that what happened, Luann? The Knicks won? Game over? Wales says, watch the Giants F this up and win tomorrow, man. It's possible. It's possible. It's definitely possible, and the fan base is going to be upset. Not everybody, but there's going to be a lot of people upset. But he got a hold. Mr. Cash Garden, what's going on? Said, what up, Dash? Haven't been on one of your late night talks. Rough season. He says it's still New York Giants for life, man. Shout out to you, Mr. Cash, man. I'm always gonna be here, brother. Every Saturday, late night Giants talk to vibe with my fellow crazy and loyal Big Blue Nation. Shout out to Big Blue Nation. Rev says, hold on, where'd it go? Rev says, I am tired of the short receivers. It's time for us to get some big body wide receivers. I agree. That's why I like Carnell Tate. I think he complements the room. That's why I like Isaiah Hodgins, because he complements what we have. So I think that we should absolutely think about keeping Isaiah Hodgins, especially for like the 90-man roster going into the summer for training camp. I think he brings something that nobody else brings, and that's that possession, big body wide receiver that we've been missing. We thought we might have got a chance with that with Bryce Ford Wheaton, but he can't stay healthy. We thought we saw that with what's his name with Bo, but we saw that he didn't really know the plays and was having some issues. But trusty Isaiah Hodgins was there for us to pick up and was available for all the entire season. Little Jordan Humphrey was another one, and then we got cheap and didn't want to actually add him to the 53, and he's still making plays for the Denver Broncos even last week. So, I think a big body wide receiver is what the New York Giants need for sure. For sure. Jacoby Lane has a 9.3 drop rate. No thanks from me. I got to check the Carfax on that. I believe you. I got to check the Carfax on that. If that is in fact the case, then. But there's other wide receivers too. There's other ones in the second round. You got Chris Bell ended up tearing his knee up, so he probably be available to stash later. Elijah Sherrod's another one, about 6'2" out of Indiana. He'll be around in the second round. You got the kid from Rutgers. Shout out to Rutgers, Ian. He's about 6'3", bigger body wide receiver. So there's a couple of them. There's a couple of them outside of Jacoby Lane. Jeremy Bernard is nice. You say the later rounds. I think Jeremy Bernard goes in the third. I think he goes in the third round. He might last to the fourth. Damn, Malik Willis just threw a dot. Packers trying to fight back. Go ahead, Packers. Luann said Eli never had to run. He couldn't run. Eli was slow. Yes, I know he beat what's his name? Jason Taylor. I know he beat Jason Taylor to the end zone, but Eli was slow. Also, he had good pocket presence. But also, Eli took some mean shots too, man, sticking in the pocket. Eli took some shots. I bet you this, though. Another running touchdown by Malik Neighbors. I'm sorry, by Malik Willis. If he had the ability to run, I think he would have ran more. I really do believe it. If Peyton Manning had the ability to run, I think they would have ran. Nobody just wants to stand back there and get hit because they're too slow. So I think if Eli had that ability, he probably would have used it a little bit more. Probably. And I bet you if you would have asked him, hey, what if we would have turned that 5.240 into like a 4.840? Eli would have took that. He probably would have took that. And, actually, I don't know what Eli ran in the 40. I imagine that was probably like a 5.2, something like that. He seems like the 5.2 type. Very slow. Very, very Tom Brady-ish when it comes to athleticism. Yeah. Dart reminds me of Steve Young. His game, yeah, I can see that. I wish he could turn into Steve Young. I wish he had the cannon that Steve Young had, though. He don't got the cannon that Steve Young had. Steve Young had absolute cannon. Lefty, had some wiggle to him. Shout out to Steve Young, the Mormon. Steve Young. Is it Chewy? Chewy Raider coverage is fine for Dart to run. Just stop taking those unnecessary hits. That's true. And shout out to Chewy, man, from Raiders coverage. Shout out to you. Hey, you know what? Reach out to me too, man. I was looking for a Raiders content creator until I realized the day that I did the War Room was Christmas Eve. And I said, nobody's going to do a show on Christmas Eve. They want to spend time with their family. But hit me up, Chewy. Greg T says that's a fact. Big Dash knows Dart one stop until he slows down. Yeah. He gonna use them legs so he can't use them anymore. That's a fact. Now I like Jeremy Bernard too, man. Jeremy Bernard also roll tide at the end of the day. If you guys didn't know, I'm an Alabama fan, so I like Jeremy Bernard. I don't know what happened to Williams though, man. He looked like Slayton this year. Ryan Williams, he had all that hype his freshman year. And this year, he was like, what he got? 8, 9 drops on the season? It's crazy. So now it's only a 3-point game in the third quarter. About a minute left. Well, just under 2 minutes left in the third quarter. 27-24. Ravens got the lead right now. Huntley is leading the Ravens. Pretty good, entertaining game too, man. A lot of people didn't think this game was going to be good with 2 backup quarterbacks. Prove people wrong. Yardy says, we don't need to limit Dart by making him a pocket passer. We need to take the reins off and coach him to be smart. Hopefully a new head coach will see what diabolical Dabes saw. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. He just got to be smart. He got to, dial back some of that competitive nature. Obviously, you don't want him to lose the competitiveness, but you want him to be smart. Yes, we already know that you're tough, Dart. You've proven this year that you're tough. I've seen you dive head first out of bounds and try to hit somebody with the crown of your helmet. We've seen you try to stiff arm people. We've seen you try to run over safeties. We know that you're tough. I need you to prove that you're smart on top of that. Even Eli knew sometimes you got to check it down. Sometimes you got to throw it into the stands. Sometimes you just got to throw it away so you can live to fight another play. And as soon as he learns that, and also as soon as he gets better talent around him, then it is what it is. Just think about it. What was the main difference between what he had with Dabes and also what he had with Mike Kafka? One of those guys is Scatterboo. People respect the Scatterboos in the run game. So when you're doing the RPO with Scatterboo, you get a lot more respect than what you're doing with Tyrone Tracy, respectfully, because I like Tyrone Tracy. I do. But he didn't get the same respect that somebody like Cam Scatterboo was getting, in such a short amount of time. You lose those guys on top of, again, losing neighbors, which he really never even had neighbors because they only played 22 plays together. Once you lose that, and then everybody that you're comfortable with, you were comfortable, with Theo. Theo's still a target, but then you got comfortable with Jordan Humphries. You trusted him downfield for the 50-50 balls and stuff like that. And then now you've seen Darius Slayton drop a few. You know that Wan'Dale Robinson has limitations because of his stature. Theo Johnson got the case of the drops. Daniel Bellinger, pretty solid, but not getting that many targets. It's just not him. It's just not him. When you look at the guy you want to compare him to or possibly take over, Mendoza. Mendoza has one of the best wide receiver rooms in the country. Best coaching in the country, too. A solid defense, solid running game. All this stuff matters, man. All this stuff matters when again, if we're able to trade back, Mendoza goes to the Jets or he goes to the Raiders, whoever we can trade back with, hopefully, you'll see what he does with less around him. But I already know what Dart can do with less around him. I want to see what he can do with more. And if anything, I think he has deserved the right to be the starter. Wow, Derrick Henry going off again. He deserves a chance to lead the New York Giants next year. And then that way, for the people that say, Jackson Dart is regressing, you'll be able to really say that and actually have, the proof to make those ridiculous claims that people are making right now with Dart regressing. Another person says Dart reminds him of Steve Young. Ike Hilliard was 5'10". That's a fact. Mark Ingram Sr., 5'9". Yep. Lionel Emmanuel, 6 foot. I'm not knocking the shorter wide receivers. We just need a taller one, especially for the 50-50 balls. Gangster says start Russ, Hyatt, Neal, and Banks. I already know the agenda, Gangster. You trying to lose this game. I understand. I think Neal is on IR though. Neal's on IR, right? Neal's done. Neal is done. We won't see Neal again in a Giants jersey. The funny thing is, he might go somewhere. Listen, you know how upset I'm going to be? Not really, but how upset I might be if Neal goes somewhere, they put him at guard, they actually play him, and he plays well. I'm going to be pissed off. I won't care. I'll care a little bit, but I'll be pissed off if something like that happens when we could have had him. Especially thinking about Greg Roten now, we could possibly have an entirely new right side of the offensive line. Thanks to Joe Shane. Illuminor might walk. Greg Van Roten might retire. And the New York Giants are sitting there trying to replace the entire right side. Yes, I know Marcus Bowe was here. I understand. I'm just saying there's going to be an entirely new right side of the offensive line in 2026. Just when the offensive line was playing better, they breaking the whole band up. It is what it is. Conception from Texas A&M. Yeah, he's another guy that's not that tall, but is absolutely a playmaker. Conception. How do you end up with a last name like that? I'm curious. Because I know on birth certificates, you can just put down whatever you want. We know Amon-Ra St. Brown, like his dad's last name is just Brown. And on the birth certificate, he decided to put St. Brown, and you can't do anything about it because that's what you named him. Conception, however you want to pronounce it. Is that like a real last name, or did his parents just say, you know what, we're just gonna put whatever we want as his last name, and he got to live up to it. Speaking of names, man, just Amon-Ra St. Brown, then his brother's name is like Equimanius St. Brown. And then there's another brother. I don't know his name. I can't remember his name, but he also played at USC. Can't remember his name, but I'm pretty sure it's probably as wild as his brother's names. It is what it is. Said, yeah, man, let me know. Let me know, man, for sure. Story mode says Eli was so uncomfortable on a lot of his runs. I felt like he was going to fumble or get smacked every time. Let me tell you something with Eli, man. Eli only ran when he thought he had a chance. And I think he got into the end zone off pure adrenaline because he looked like he was struggling every time he was running. Even when he beat Jason Taylor to the end zone in London, he looked like it was a 10-yard run. If I'm not mistaken, it was 10. It might have been 15. But the way he was looking over his shoulder and trying to run, it was like almost when I was a kid and you get chased by a dog and you get that little extra bump of adrenaline to help you get away. But that's exactly how Eli Manning looked when he kept peeking over his shoulder looking for Jason Taylor and head back running. You guys was kids. You already know what it is. You know, as a kid, when your head is back and you're running, you are running for your life. It's a different type of running. Greg T, you a Bama fan too. Born in Tuscaloosa. Shout out to you. I'm gonna let you in on something, Greg T. My family, my father's side, we from a little town called Aliceville, Alabama. Small town. And if you're from Aliceville, you probably know my family. About 20 minutes outside of Tuscaloosa, south of Tuscaloosa, southwest, Mississippi borderline. That's where my folks is from. Aliceville is actually Panola County. That's where my people from. Oh man, life at full speed says Ryan Williams barbecue chicken. Now, that's a fact. That's a fact, man. I don't know. He talking about a sophomore slump. A lot of people are saying that he might transfer and go to LSU. You know, follow Lane Kiffin to LSU. Wouldn't be a bad idea. I'm not sure who the quarterback is really going to. Well, I know who might be the quarterback at Alabama next year. Might be the kid that came over with DeBoer. But it is what it is. But nah, shout out to Tuscaloosa too, man. Shout out to Tuscaloosa. Last time I was in Alabama was 2023. Shout out to Tuscaloosa. Chewy says Giants are really close to being playoff contenders. Honestly, I got a question for you, Chewy, man. And again, a lot of these Giants fans, you're amongst Giants fans right now. Are you willing to pay, or what would you be willing to pay if you do not lose tomorrow to move up? And how do you feel about Mendoza? Do you feel like you need a quarterback? I'm curious to know. Again, I didn't get a chance to have a war room with a Raiders fan this week or a Raiders content creator this week. I'm curious. Those are some of the questions I would have been asking. But I'm curious, Chewy. I know it's impromptu, but if you got the time, I would like to ask you those questions. Do you feel like quarterback is your number one priority? Do you think that Pete Carroll survives and still the coach next year? I got a couple questions for Raiders fans, man. For the Raiders. Neil needs to go. Neil's already gone. Wells, he's gone. He will never play another game as a Giant. Never. You can't justify bringing him back. You got to pay him real money. Not real money, but real money for a backup. You would have to pay him like a backup. I'm sorry. Conception is a dog. That's a fact. Simeon says that's his real last name. No, I understand that's his real last name. I'm just saying, is that a real last name? Or did his parents just write like how Amon St. Brown's name is St. Brown and his dad just made it St. Brown? Is it like that, or Concepcion? Is he a Zoe? Possibly. He might be Zoe. He might be Zoe at the end of the day. He might be Haitian. Concepcion? Is that French? It might be. I don't know. Respectfully, I say that respectfully too. Not trying to be disrespectful at all. I'm curious. Is that a common last name? I don't know. I've never seen it before. I'm really asking. Now that's funny. Greg T says Aliceville. Yes, my mom remarried a guy from Aliceville. Shout out to you, man. Played Aliceville in high school, blanked them 22-0. That's a small town, bro. That's a small town. I forgot the guy that played for Seattle is from Aliceville. Offensive lineman. Damn, I think he might have made the Hall of Fame. I'm not sure, but he was one of the. Damn, what was his name? I can't remember his name right now, but he played. He's from Aliceville. Played 90s to the early 2000s for Seattle. Damn, I can't remember his name right now, but that's funny. Kendall Gibson, LaRon Little. That's what's up, man. So you know more than me. Shout out to Freddie Velasquez, 5981 with the $1.99 super chat says overkill the draft signing and Jacob Rodriguez. No, that is not overkill. That is not overkill. Jacob Rodriguez. Baltimore Ravens just scored again. Good Lord, Huntley. All right. These guys are playing. Who's that? Zay Flowers? Huntley with the touchdown to Zay Flowers. Lead back up, what, 7? I think. Something like that. 7 or 6. 7. Anyway, it's not overkill. I like Jacob Rodriguez. Jacob Rodriguez is actually on the short list for Heisman. Not the short list, but the list before the short list for the Heisman. Solid linebacker, Jacob Rodriguez. Solid linebacker, does everything well. Everything well. He got the interceptions. He got the tackles for losses. I don't know what his sack numbers are though. Pause. I don't know how many sacks he had this year, but he makes plays all over the field. We get to see him. Who's that? Oregon plays Texas Tech, so we really get a chance to see him. When's that game? I know that game is this week coming up. Don't know the exact date of the game, but you got Oregon versus Texas Tech. That should be a good one. Should be a good one. Shout out to my man Hooks Rub is in the building. If you guys believe that you can smoke barbecue with the best of them, if you're an amateur out here just trying to cook up for your family, make sure you guys hit up my man Hooks Rub from Hooks Rubs and Spices. Yo, tell me if that wasn't good, Hooks. That's pretty good, right? That's pretty good. I got to work on my pitches, man. I got to work on my pitches. Who knows? But shout out to my man Hooks Rubs. He does sell rubs and seasonings and stuff like that for barbecue. He also smokes meat, sells them as well. Might cost you a pretty penny though if you're shipping, where he's shipping to. But shout out to my man Hooks from Hooks Rubs and Spices though, man. Let me know if the pitch worked, man. He says appreciated, Dash. That was great. Yeah, got off the wing. Got to wing it a little bit. It is what it is now, but no jokes. Hit up my man Hooks. If you out there thinking you can barbecue, whether you're good or not, hit my man Hooks up. You see the profile picture. He letting you know what's up. If you watch Pat Leonard, then you already know what's up. I believe he had a little bit of Pat Leonard had a discount code, I think, something like that, right? Well, anyway, I don't have a discount code, but guess what? You go to Pat Leonard and get yourself a discount code too. Or you could pay the whole price and support black businesses. Shout out to my man Hooks, though, man. Shout out to my man Hooks for sure. I done made it to the bottom of the topics. I talked about Dart regressing. I talked about Turbo Miller getting a chance. I talked about the toilet bowl. I talked about guys on the IR. For those that are late getting in here, guys that got added to the IR. You got Andrew Thomas, John Michael Schmitz, DJ Davidson, Tyler Newbin, all added to the IR. Their seasons are done for the season. Guys that got called up, Elijah Chapman, Brian Hudson, who's a center. Turbo Miller got called up, and there was one more. Can't remember right now, so I apologize. And there you go, Hooks already. Look at Hooks, man. Way to go. I missed it. There you go right there. So they go to code. Pat is talking ball. So if you guys want to get some rubs, pause. We talking about seasonings and rubs, no Deshaun Watson activities going on here. I apologize for saying that. I really do. That's a low shot, but it was funny. If you want your seasonings, if you want your rubs, you got a code right there, talking ball. There you go. I think the third spot. Okay. Corey Soka says, how far do we fall if we beat the Raiders? That's what he said. I think the third spot. Simeon, it's getting late for me too, bro. It's getting late for me too. He says it's getting late. Yeah, we hit the hour and a half mark. Again, I told you guys I realized that I cut the lives before 2 hours. That way I can get all the AI concepts so they can cut up these this long stream into shorts. Try to get the message out there to more people. I'm seeing that I've been adding more shorts too to the channel. If you guys noticed that, I've been adding more shorts to the channel, try to get more eyes and ears, to the channel, so we can get more people out here supporting the Giants and vibing with us. So yeah. So I try to keep it under that 2 hour mark. Sometimes, man, I've even gone like 2.5 hours, 3 hours, but I know that the cutoff need to be under 2 hours in order to take advantage of those extra features that StreamYard provides. Yeah. Hooks Rub says, I'll be watching the TCU boys play. Hopefully that wide receiver. I like Eric McAllister. That's another one. Plays he would be great pickup for the Giants in the draft. Yeah, he's another one. He's another one. Simeon says, Dash, do you have an editor or software to make your shorts? I told you I take it. If I'm not doing it myself, I just found this feature. And shout out to Two Giant Goofballs, my man Drew, because he's the one that showed me the feature. Where you actually have the AI do it. Yeah, me and Drew was talking for like an hour. Just backstage. Just talking about the features, some of the plans he got going on with his channel and things like that. Let me know. Let me in on some very cool things that are going on as far as different options and applications that I can use. But no, I'm not gatekeeping. I use CapCut for my editing. Either the phone version or the desktop version. That's what I use, CapCut. I use Canva for the thumbnails. And I do make my own thumbnails. Yeah. My son produces the background music, some of it. Shout out to my brother-in-law's brother created the intro for this video for the live stream. Yeah, so it's a small ran business, and again, you guys put into the channel and I put into the product. So the more the channel grows, the better the product is going to be. And that's what it is. I got goals, man. I want this to be a great experience for everybody. Next step is the 4K camera. So we'll see what happens with that. If 2026 is a good year, you might see the 4K cameras get here. Who knows? You might see Dash at 4K. Some people might not want to see that 4K. I don't know. We'll see. Life at Full Speed says, Dash, you going to the training camp? I do want to go to a training camp. I do want to go spend a couple days in Jersey. Obviously, my family's from Jersey. So my mom's still in Jersey and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll be killing two birds with one stone. Get to see family and also get to see the Giants at training camp. But yeah, I think that's going to be in the plans this year for sure. I'm still trying to see if I can go to the Senior Bowl this year. So we'll see what happens. Or Senior Bowl practices. I don't really want to go to the Senior Bowl. I'd rather go to the practices, get a chance to try to see if I can interview some players and stuff like that. Depending on who's there too. We're starting to see some of the invites get accepted. Shaping up to be a good and an entertaining, Senior Bowl. Malik Willis looks like he's hurt. That reaching for that shoulder again. Backup quarterback is warming up. Is that Clayton Tune? I forgot he was on the Packers. Ishmael says, Yo, Big Dash, thank you for the New York Giants. Great content you have provided us all year, and next year is going to be great. A great one, my dude. I hope so, man. Lord willing, God willing. I hope so. The channel, like I said, the channel is continuing to grow. You guys are vibing with me, and I can see it, man. I can see it. And hopefully, like I said, I'm trying to make this experience as best as possible. One man show with a lot of family support. You know what it is. Even my big brothers in the building telling you guys to like, subscribe, and share. We're trying to cover all the angles, man. Trying to cover all the angles. Simeon says CapCut used to easily make shorts, but they changed up. Again. I don't claim to be a professional at all. Again, I'm learning as I go. If you guys go back and look at my first videos, I suggest that you guys don't go there and look at some of my early videos because they was hot trash. Like those first couple of, and watch people go to these videos now because I'm saying this. My first couple of videos, man, that first season, trash. I wasn't even on camera. I wouldn't even think that I'll be here 3 years later doing lives for 2 hours almost. But we here, man. God is great. And again, a lot more to do. I got a lot more goals as well. Like I said, Lord willing, I'm able to hit all of those goals. Hooks Rub says, hey, at Tudo knows what's up. Appreciate you, mate. Listen, man, it is what it is. My big brother, right on cue. Hashtag growth. You know what it is. Whale says CapCut is cool. You can do a lot in it. Pause. You know what I'm not even gonna lie. Some of the if you guys saw an edit with all of the changes and switches from the videos, that was all CapCut. I was just trying that thing out. I thought it came out dope. Somebody said, how'd you do it? I said, I can't even take credit. Wow, interception. Ravens got the ball back up 10, 6 minutes left, or 7 minutes left in the quarter. That might be the nail in the coffin for the Packers. That might be the nail in the coffin for the Packers. Well, it is what it is. Life says we all have to start somewhere. Now, that's a fact. That's a fact. Knicks win. Luann, let me know the Knicks win. Shout out to the Knicks, man. The New York Giants been breaking our hearts all season. If you're a Knicks fan, they look promising this year. It looks very promising this year. I think they can go deep. Well, last year they went deep into the playoffs. I think they got a chance of possibly getting there, man. You got to see what happens with Detroit, though. Detroit is tough. Detroit is really tough. But we'll see, man. We'll see. I know a lot of people still got holding on to the hope of getting Giannis. I don't think that happens. Don't think that happens. I would love to get what's his name? Dante back. DiVincenzo. I would love to get him back. I would love to get him back, with these guys. I don't know if that's going to happen, though. Corey, I appreciate it. Says, really enjoy your work. Nah, I appreciate it, man. Again, I'm working. One thing that I do take the criticism well. So if you guys got anything or any pointers or any kind of tips and stuff like that, let me know. Hit me up. Again, you guys know me on all social media platforms, even on Facebook now. I finally got a actual Big Dash Knows Facebook. So if you guys want to follow me there, you can do that. Forever, I didn't have an official one. It was just my personal profile and stuff like that. But yeah, officially got the Big Dash Knows on Facebook. So you guys can go there and follow there. I'm going to try to start putting content on there. Facebook was acting up because I wanted to stream on YouTube and also on Facebook. But right now, because my page is so new, they're not allowing that to happen. But we'll see what happens in a few weeks. Definitely have something going by next season so I can be on multiple platforms live. I know some people like to follow on Facebook. Some people like to follow here. So it is what it is. Plus, YouTube is YouTube. Shout out to Freddie again. $1.99 super chat says, are there any running backs you think you should take late? Terrion Stewart is one I would take late. Terrion Stewart is one. He's from Virginia Tech. Also, where'd he play at before Virginia Tech? Damn. This is his first year with Virginia Tech. But Terrion Stewart, if you like what Cam Scatterbull brings, Terrion Stewart is also like a Cam Scatterbull. Smaller bowling ball type build. If you're the first guy there, you're not bringing them down. If you're trying to tackle Terrion Stewart, you better bring the party with you because he's definitely bringing the party with him. But I like Terrion Stewart late. You could probably get him in the 6th round. And I think that even though a lot of people say, oh, the Giants are picking there, you got to look at Love from Notre Dame. No, you don't. Taking a running back in round 1 would be criminal, and that's no knock against Love. There's no knock against Love. He's going to be a fantastic running back, but that is not what the New York Giants need in the first round. But yeah, later on, the kid from Minnesota too, from Minnesota Gophers. Again, names are escaping me right now. The kid from Miami is another one. And I'll make sure, like I said, right now I'm doing a lot of early on research. I know players, I know numbers. I need to learn all the names. Running backs, I haven't done a deep dive on running backs yet, but Terrion Stewart is one of those guys that I saw as a running back that I like a lot. I like the way he plays. I agree. Another scat. That's a fact. That's a fact. I'm telling you, he runs hard. Definitely runs hard. Will says, Dash, you need mods to drop these. I need a lot of things, man. I need a lot of things. Again, and you know, man, and shout out to you. Shout out to Big Lou too, man, because you guys been doing it for a while. The live streams, you guys got everything going. It's certain things I got to figure that out. I got to figure it out so I can share all this stuff, man. Like I said, I'm still learning. It's been a season. Certain things I take a deep dive and then I get better at. So I'm still learning, still trying to grow this channel. So again, as I get better, the channel will be better. And the experience will be better for everybody that's tuning in, for sure. Yo, Melvin, you are not alone. You are not alone. He says we need to draft a kicker in the 6th round. I think the only kicker worth drafting is a kicker from what, Michigan? But I'm not drafting a kicker, man. It's just so many issues and so many holes that the New York Giants have. I can't see us drafting a kicker. Give me the best kicker out of the UFL. Do what the Dallas Cowboys did. Find the best kicker in the UFL or the USFL or whatever it's called right now. I don't know what the name is anymore. Give me the best kicker. Give me the best punter out of there. Gano, you cut Gano, you save $4 million. I don't know what Jamie Gillian is making, but he's not the best punter either. Outside of the long snapper, we might see a new kicker and a new punter. Shout out to Ben Sauls. I think Ben Sauls got actually signed to the 53 also. I think that might have been another name. So he's on the 53. He did a pretty good game. He had a pretty good game last week kicking the ball outside of the first kickoff that went out of bounds. But he made some field goals. He made the extra points. Who knows, man? And it's crazy too, because as a Giants fan, it's a rotation of kickers since Dable has been here, and Gano's been hurt all the time. Shane's been here, and Gano's been hurt all the time. It's been a rotation of kickers, especially last year. We had all those different kickers, and they all were trash. It is what it is. Hook says, I hope we drop Gillian and Gano. You save about $6 million, at least $5 million if you cut both of those guys. And every penny counts, especially with the kind of with what we need this offseason. Look like Malik Willis is trying to get back into the game. 4 minutes, 30 seconds left. It's a 10-point game. Baltimore's up 34-24. Third down for the Baltimore Ravens, 3rd and 4. So this is a big third down for the Green Bay Packers. It could be their last chance to try to make or try to get a victory, still a victory out of the jaws of defeat. Now, again, if this was the Giants, you would think that the Packers had a really good chance of coming back because we do a horrible job closing out games. You draft the punter if they are exceptional, but never kickers. Yeah. Well, if you got a good punter, flip the field. Like what's the kid, the punt guy who got drafted and then ended up getting those charges on him, and then the charges got dropped, almost ruined his career. Now I think is he with the Chiefs? Because I know the Bills drafted him, and then the charges came out, so they cut him, and then he was blackballed for a little bit, and then the charges got dropped, and then I think he's with the Chiefs. Something like that. Tyrone Hall says, shout out to the chat for the drafting. That's why I can't wait, man. Again, when the season is over, this channel is flipping. I'm still going to have the late night Giants talk, but obviously with the Giants not playing in the postseason and obviously going to the offseason, it's going to be a hell of a lot of draft talk, hell of a lot of prospects. Just like you see the notes that I have up next to me now, it's going to be prospect notes and going over players. So if you like that kind of thing, hopefully you tune in for that. If anything big is happening with the Giants, obviously that's going to be some talking points too. But I'm excited for this offseason. I'm excited to get into these draft prospects. I'm excited to see the growth in the channel, man. Hopefully you guys are along for that ride. I know some people are here strictly for the Giants talk, and it will still be Giants-related draft talk. But again, hopefully you guys are interested in college talk. Because, again, we got a lot of holes to fill. Pause. And knowing, having some background on some of these players when it comes to the draft, you guys are going to be like, oh, yeah, we know about this guy. Or I've seen some cut-ups from this guy. And, you guys are not coming in, kind of like green when it comes to, some of the people that we draft. Greg T says recently drafted punters include Jeremy Crawshaw for the Broncos, James Kamada from 2022 for the Matt Ariza, that's his name. That's punt guy, 2022 for the Bills. Those punters are really high picks. No, that's a fact. Yeah, Matt Ariza, that's his name, punt guy. That's his nickname. I think I hit all of the notes. We are almost at the 2-hour mark. Shout out to the 101 people already in the building. Let me get to the super chat. Shout out to my man Hooks Rub for $4.99 super chat. Says, I think the one thing Shane did for us to help us get out of the salary, help us get out of salary cap issues, I'd still let him go. Two though, we can just trust him to draft. We just can't trust him to draft. The thing about that Hooks is this. He was handed when he got here a horrible cap situation. And he did get us out of that cap situation, had a couple of good deals. You would say that the Andrew Thomas deal was great. You would say that the Dexter Lawrence deal was also great because he got those guys signed in for a reasonable number. But everything outside of that, the Brian Burns deal was fantastic too as far as the trade. But just some of these contracts, the Darius Slayton contract, the James Hudson contract, those, that's a lot of money when you look at holding on to Evan Neal, holding on to Jalen Hyatt, not getting another cornerback in the building. In 2024, where Tay Banks was the QB1, and then what you call it? What was it? Joe Shane was talking about. We get Brian Burns. I can go out there and play cornerback, and just all this stuff. The Leonard Williams, like my man said, trading away Leonard Williams, even though Leonard Williams ultimately turned into Brian Burns, but still, since Leonard Williams left, the run defense left with him for the most part. So, and also now when you look at the cap, we're not in the best place right now with the cap. You got $18 million for Javon Holland. You got $24 million cap hit for Polson and Debo. And we say this after the fact. Hindsight is 2020. I applauded a lot of these deals, but it's his job to be right. I can afford to be wrong because I'm just a guy on YouTube, talking about the team I love the most. He can't be wrong. We can be wrong, right? So for me, to your point, and you did end it with, he gotta go. But I'm just saying, hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. Better coaching would help too, though. But I don't know if he's going to make it. I don't know if he's going to make it to select that next coach. You look at the roster on paper. The roster on paper looks pretty good. I will say that. So, but again, is he the worst? He is not the worst, but he's not good too, in my opinion. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Jake Moody was also Jake Moody from Michigan? I know San Fran drafted Jake Moody, and then they ended up cutting him. They cut Moody, and then where's Moody at now? Yeah, but the 49ers drafted Moody. He was there for 2 years, and they cut him this year. He was there for 2023, 2024, had some issues, and they cut him this year. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Shane needs to take his talents to Dallas, Washington, to Philly. Now that's a fact. Listen, let him go over there and sabotage things. Let him go ahead and sabotage things over there. But I'm gonna go ahead and end this thing here. Make sure I got all the super chats. I got a couple more comments I want to read, and then we are absolutely gonna get out of here and enjoy the rest of our night. And then obviously New York Giants play the Raiders tomorrow, and I will be live for that post game reaction. The Big Moose says Shane's biggest problem is he refuses to give up on his draft picks. He'd rather let them be inactive. Yeah. And tie up roster spots. Now that's a fact. That's a fact. He definitely got to and I'm guilty of it too. But again, I'm just a regular person. He's a GM making millions of dollars. He did not want to move on from Tay Banks. He did not want to move on from Jalen Hyatt. He did not want to move on from Evan Neal. That whole 2023 draft class ended up being pretty much a bunch of busts. JMS is probably the only only guy that's stuck around, but we still got question marks with him, even though he had his best season this year. The 2022 class, all those guys are pretty much up for new contracts outside of Kayvon Thibodeau, and you're not bringing back Evan Neal. Wow. Derrick Henry scores another touchdown. Game is over. I don't even know what my parlay looks like. Hopefully I got my parlay. But obviously Tibbs got the 5th-year option. And then also, man, letting a lot of people walk. Xavier McKinney, letting him walk for nothing. Saquon Barkley let him walk for nothing. Julian Love, not being able to get him signed back. It's just a lot. And all those guys are playing well in other locations. So, I mean, it is what it is. Prentice with the $5 super chat says, I would love if the Giants moved into the 21st century and hired a black head coach. You might see it happen. It might be Marcus Freeman. It might be Vance Joseph. It might be Brian Flores. That's something that could possibly happen. We'll see what happens, though. We'll absolutely see what happens, man. I appreciate that. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and shut it down here. Enjoyed talking and sharing my time with you guys, and I appreciate you guys sharing your time with me. Hopefully you guys had a fantastic holiday, and hopefully you guys have a fantastic, New Year. And with that being said, I want to thank everybody for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows Big Blue Nation. Let's go.